Avocados are an emotional roller coaster. They go from rock hard to overripe in what feels like the blink of an eye. And what most people don't know is the problem isn't the avocado itself, it's how we're storing them. I'm Dale, the food safety dad, and today we're talking about the best and safest way to store these delicious fruits. And yes, I said fruit. Let's start with whole avocados. The first thing you need to know is where you store them depends on how ripe they currently are. If your avocado is still hard and unripe, the best place to store it is at room temperature on the counter. Avocados ripen naturally at room temperature, so leave them there until they start to soften a little bit. This usually takes a few days depending on how green they were when you bought them. Now, if you do want to speed up the ripening process, put the avocado in a brown paper bag with a banana or an apple. These fruits release ethylene gas, which helps the avocado ripen faster. Keep the bag on a counter and keep an eye on that sucker because it's going to ripen up pretty fast. Once your avocado is ripe, move it to the fridge. This is going to slow down the ripening process and it's going to buy you a few extra days before it goes bad. A ripe avocado should feel slightly soft when you press on it gently, but it shouldn't feel mushy. If it's already mushy, you're in overripe territory, and at that point, it's guac time. But more about that later. Now, let's talk about cut avocados. And this is where things get a little more challenging. The second you cut into an avocado, it starts to oxidize, and that's just a fancy way of saying it reacts with the air and begins to turn brown. The good news is brown avocado is perfectly safe to eat. It just doesn't look very appetizing. So how do you keep a cut avocado fresh and green? Well, the key is limiting its exposure to air. Start by brushing or squeezing a little bit of lemon juice or lime onto the exposed avocado flesh. The acidity slows down oxidization and begins to keep the color bright. If you don't have a lemon or lime at hand, you can use vinegar as an alternative. Once you have treated it with acid, store the avocado in an airtight container or wrap it tightly with plastic wrap. The goal here is to seal it so no air can get in. If you're only using half an avocado, leave the pit in the unused half. The pit acts as a natural barrier, protecting that little bit of the flesh from air exposure. And here's another option. If you do want to think outside the box, you can submerge the cut avocado in water. Yep, water. Place the avocado flesh side down in a container of cold water and store it in the fridge. You see, this creates a seal that keeps air out and it can keep your avocado fresh for up to 2 days. Just be sure to have it dry before you use it. Now, if you've already mashed the avocado, like for guac, the same rules do apply. Add some lemon or lime and press some plastic wrap directly onto the surface so there's no air gap. And then store it in the fridge. This can help keep guac fresh for an extra 2 days. But what about freezing? Well, if you've got more avocados than you can shake a stick at, you can freeze them, but it's not ideal for slices or halves. You see, freezing changes the texture, making it mushy when it thaws. And your best bet is to just mash the avocado first. Mix in a bit of lemon or lime juice and freeze it in an airtight container. Frozen avocado is great for smoothies, spreads, but not so much for salads or toasts. So what does happen once your avocado crosses the line into overripe territory? You know, the signs, mushy to the touch, maybe a few brown spots inside, and you're thinking, is this still good? Well, here's the deal. As long as it doesn't smell off or have mold, you can still use it. And there's one thing overripe avocados are perfect for. Now, I'm not a chef, nor should I be giving out recipes, but here's a fail-safe I use in my house for guac. Scoop out your overripe avocados and mash them up in a bowl until they're smooth. Then stir in a little tomato, onion, and cilantro, and add some salt and pepper to taste. And boom, fresh guac. Serve it with chips, spread it on toast, or just grab a spoonful every time you pass the fridge. I'm Dale, the food safety dad, and until next time, go and wash your hands.